welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Phantom Stranger, Issue 2 by DC. Now there is fighting, shooting, chaos, destruction, and demons in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, when we left off Phantom Stranger in issue 1, he had just found Bruce Gordon outside of a bar after he drank too much and they threw him out, and told him that he shall help him, that he believes him about everything that's going on. And then that was the end of that issue. And then we start this one with Bruce Gordon, who, as I've learned in this issue, is actually who Eclipso came out of. He touched some stone, and Eclipso is basically the evil that was inside of Bruce Gordon. So that explains that, at least here. Right, so Gordon is somewhere in the void, and Eclipso is there taunting him, telling him that each time he thinks he has vanquished Eclipso, he always comes back again, and he has to tell himself that each time is the last time he'll see him, or else he'll go crazy, and that he shouldn't fear because he won't kill him because they're connected. So he worries that if he kills him, then he too shall perish. But he basically has no real need for his sanity, just for him to be alive. And he torments him. And then he says, "Oh, your ride is here." And we hear someone talking to him, and it's the Phantom Stranger guiding him back. And then Bruce Gordon wakes up in his apartment. Like, what's happening? What's going on? And he starts to remember last night. Everything that happened, the bar, him offering help, but then the Phantom Stranger is he reassures him, I've put some spells that'll prevent Eclipso from penetrating your mind. That's what he's doing to you. He's trying to prevent you from stopping him this way. But then the Phantom Stranger is not so full of confidence as he was the night before, where he told him, together we shall vanquish this evil, and Bruce Gordon tells him, what happened? Last night you were all, you said we can do this, we can defeat him. And he says, yes, but now I have rethought it, I have doubts. I don't know, maybe after seeing Gordon's state, he decided that. It's unclear. And he's like, I've lost faith and all that. And then suddenly, they are, somewhere else, or they're just seeing this vision of the Lords. The Lords of Light, I presume, the ones that made Phantom Stranger what he is. And they tell him that now they'll release him from his eternal servitude because it is hopeless. There is nothing that anyone can do. This is the fate of the world. And he says, yes, I agree, even you cannot do anything. But then they're angry about him saying that, even though they just said the exact same thing. And they're like, that's it. You dare object us, or what do they say to him? Not object. But anyway, yeah, for beings of light and hope and all that shit, they sure aren't very hopeful or full of anything, are they? Yeah, when you surrendered to doubt, when you started the question, you gave birth to uncertainty. The choice was made when your fate deserted you, stranger. And that's it. They're gonna take away his power. There's 3 of them at first, but then a 4th one suddenly appears. And a fist grabs Stranger, and Bruce Gordon yells at him, "Phantom Stranger, look out!" And he yells at the fist like, "You're killing him," at the Lords, and like up until now he could not die. Okay, and then it kind of just ends there. There's no like one panel at least showing that they've released the Phantom Stranger. And I guess maybe it's not necessarily, but I would have liked to see, like a panel where, I don't know, Phantom Stranger is on the ground after they took away his powers and all that, and Gordon's like, what the hell just happened? But anyway, then we move on to, I think we're in Metropolis now, because we're back with Jimmy Olsen. Mr. Ray's gonna love this if he watches these videos. Yeah, Jimmy Olsen is meeting a Russian contact of his called Yuri. And it's a lot of Yuris when they go to Russian names, isn't it? Or Vladimir or something like that. It always seems to be the go-to name. It's like in English, you always say Jimmy, Sarah, isn't it? Or Timmy. Okay, anyway. He's standing there waiting for him, being paranoid, what if something happened? Can't blame him. His contact Yuri arrives. He's snuck out of the opera to meet him, and he tells him that he talked to his contacts, his comrades back in Russia, and the KGB. He made undistinct inquiries, and all he got was silence and disapproving looks. And Jimmy's like, well, I thought you were going to have something more solid, though. He calls him James. Thought you were going to have something more solid. And Yuri tells him, back there, the silence and the looks speak volumes. He's trying to find out, because there was gangsters in the first issue, and one of their brokers made bail somehow, and then went to the Russian, what is it called? Where you go to when you're in another country, the words in here. I believe I forgot the name of it. One second, consulate, there we go, consulate after making bail. Yeah, and then, Yuri tells him that it would be unwise to pursue the question. Don't you see, Tavarish? And then, basically tells Jimmy, that proves that something is happening, that there is something, and they're refusing to talk about it. Again, the silence speak volumes. So now Jimmy knows that there is a lead. There is something. The fact that Yuri can't tell him anything proves of that, and so it's to a reporter like him. That's it. Now he has something to follow, and he's going to get to the bottom of this. Then we go to more places around the world: disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis. Nuclear reactors, having problems, and someone has to sacrifice themselves to go in to turn them off or something like that. So yeah, it's a disaster. Then we move on to the TV. Some old guy saying, "Oh yeah, so this is very natural. It's just the Earth making movements and changes." And we see the doctor lady from the first issue. Her name is Janet Clayburn, but with a K. I think Clay. Yeah, Clay's with a C, isn't it? Anyway, she's turning off the TV in disgust, and this idiot doesn't know what he's talking about. And she's right, he doesn't. None of it's natural. Because in the first issue, she has her findings that she made. And she showed to one of her colleagues or something like that. And she knows that whatever is happening, whatever it is, it's not fucking natural. So, she's, thinking about this all. And then suddenly a voice says, you're right. And she turns around and in come two figures. And it is the Phantom Stranger and Bruce Gordon. And like, who are you? How did you get in here? Because she's in Star Labs, I forgot to say. So presumably there's security. She's like, I can get a security guard here in 30 seconds. And he's like, don't worry, the Phantom Stranger said, we are friends. And then Bruce Gordon introduced himself. Apparently they met. Bruce Gordon, I got it wrong. He's not a university teacher. I thought that's what he was. He's also a doctor, but he focuses on solar energy. So, yes, they met each other before, and then he talks to her and tells her about, yeah, you're right, your findings are correct. There is something going on, but, it's got to do with magic. And she's like, what? But then she's like, well, I can't believe, I believe you. This is crazy, but I believe you. And she's like, what are you talking about? And now Phantom Stranger no longer has his powers. They've been taken away from him. But he is determined to fight. He's not going to let the world perish without a battle. So he's like, are you with us? Will you come with us? And she looks at Stranger. Then she turns and looks at Bruce Gordon. And she's like, don't ask me why, but I believe you. This sounds crazy, but so did the idea of moldy bread being used to cure infections. I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay, and then let us hasten. We have much to do. Okay, and she turns off the lights and they head out. Then we go back to our cultist priest, our favorite charlatan, gathering more believers in the Temple of Divine Light. Telling them the usual bullshit he did in the first one. Then we see Eclipso looking at him, and I don't know if he's connected to Eclipso or not. But he said, well, he's promising them all this shit, and they'll believe this charlatan with the silver tongue. And then he goes and says, well, let's go see. Like, soon sweet darkness will wash over the world, and let's go see. Still, all this is not without some small challenge. And then there's a right stranger, and then he's looking into a bowl. And then we're with Phantom Stranger and Dr. Janet and Bruce Gordon. And they're in a jeep going to a volcano where they know these vibrations. And he doesn't talk much, does he? She's referring to the Phantom Stranger. And he's like, no, but then suddenly he says, we're here. Because he didn't even tell them where they were going exactly. And he jumps out and he's like, we have to go here. And there's some thorns there, like vines and thorns. And he starts ripping them. Like it's here. And then he says, ow, and he moves away his hand. And she's like, what's wrong, stranger? And he's like, I'm not certain, doctor. And then she says, it's just a scratch, nothing to be concerned about. And he says, I'm not concerned, I'm merely surprised. Because the Phantom Stranger is not used to feeling any pain, after all. It's a concept he maybe once felt, but doesn't bloody remember. So then they go into the mountain side of the volcano or whatever and start setting up things. The Dr. Claiborne, she has this equipment that can feel all these vibrations and whatnot. I'm not going to bother to explain the sciencey stuff that well. I forgot all the scientific names anyway. But the gist of it, this is going to tell them where the center of it is, and they will find it. And they, they're scientists, and they're excited about it. And Gordon's like, all this equipment. And Phantom Stranger, although I appreciate your enthusiasm, Bruce Gordon, we have to hurry. And he's like, okay, we're almost done. And so they turn it on. They're looking for the source. And then the Phantom Stranger is, all right, I will go now. And Bruce Gordon says, but you don't have any magic. And he says, yes, the magic inside me has been taken, but there's still magic that I can tap. That's how he found this place. Because he's been feeling this magic all of his existence. He remembers how it feels, so he can still find it. And then he's using like some simple spells to gather the mana, as he calls it, in order to go to the source down below. And it works, and poof, he's gone. And Bruce Gordon and Janet Clayburn talk some more about something. What was it? And then he muses how odd it is that he suddenly has to do it like this. He has to go en route in order to get to where he once would just go straight to. Because again, he's now... I take it he's now probably human again. He's no longer this mystical being that he was. Or whatever he was turned into, he's no longer that. So he appears in the center, and the thing that's causing the earthquakes, the tsunamis, the vibrations, demons. Big, giant-ass demons pounding the Earth's core. They're somewhere in a volcano to cause, and they're massive eruptions. You think they would need to, do that with all volcanoes, wouldn't they? Just one just enough? I mean, it looks like they're just down in the core of one volcano. But anyway, that's what they're doing in there, and he arrives, and there's the big-ass demon leader, mocks him. What are you doing here? There's nothing that you can do. And we will end you, spare yourself this. But Bruce Gordon doesn't listen. He begins to fight the demons. He gets a club from somewhere, who knows where. But he's fighting them. Meanwhile, Bruce Gordon goes, this is after Phantom Stranger disappears, and he's like, let's go get my equipment now. And he has this sort of laser gun, the finest one that you can basically carry with you. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go and find the source and help Phantom Stranger. But then Dr. Janet Clayburn grabs in like, I will go, because I know geology and I can find the center of where we need, sorry, sirens, better than you can. She's got a point there, but then she kind of hurried with the gun because she doesn't know where the trigger is. And she said, as soon as you show me where the trigger is, that is. So that's a bit of a clumsy sentence. Because it should have just been, show me where's the trigger, that is. I thought it would have sounded better. But anyway, Phantom Stranger keeps fighting, but he's losing. He no longer has this magic anymore, and although he's trying to fight off so many enemies, he's not succeeding, and then the minion demons basically pound him in, and the big demon boss is like, very soon now, soon it'll erupt, we're not long from it. And and meanwhile, Janet is going, looking for the source while communicating through radio with Bruce Gordon. She's telling him, okay, I think I got to it because there's more lava here. And then she aims the laser to some rocks, but then she shoots it, but then the demons pound even harder and everything breaks, and Bruce Gordon's like, Janet, can you read me? Meanwhile, down below, the demon boss says, enough, I want him to witness this, the destruction of the world. And Janet's there as she survived the crumbling of the rock there by some miracle. And she's looking down and she's telling Bruce, I'm fine, and I hear voices. And she goes there and she sees the deer. She's like, holy shit, what do I do? Phantom Stranger's incapacitated. Well, what am I going to do now? And she's like, and then she looks at the weapon, at the laser gun, and so she gets an idea. A crazy idea, but an idea nonetheless. So then she, the demon boss is gloating. She looks at her weapons like, unless. After that he tells them, after she said unless, then he tells them to, his demon minions to fuck off, because he wants Bruce Gordon to see it. Then Janet shoots him with the laser gun. He's like, who dares? You'll die 1,000 deaths. She said, yeah, but I'll cause you a lot more pain before that happens. She keeps shooting him. He throws Phantom Stranger and then pounds the rock. Because she's hanging, I don't know how she's doing. She's hanging by one hand off of the rock and shooting with the other. That woman has some impressive upper body strength. But anyway, she falls, but Phantom Stranger catches her, and he saves her, but he's like, oof. Again, he's probably not used to feeling anything, really. And then, no, and she said, oh, Stranger, I thought he was dead. And he said, no, but I might as well have given up, but for your example. And she's like, what are you talking about? I've never been more scared in my life. And he says, neither have I, but your actions that you've done with the laser gun. And then Phantom Stranger takes the gun and starts shooting at the demon. The demon boss getting closer to him and practically standing above him, shooting at him. And then the demon's exploding from within and yelling, help me! And then Bruce Gordon's in the radio. Janet, answer me. What's going on? You gotta shut down the laser. Now it's too much. It's overloading. And with her equipment, you can see the jump in energy from that. But then suddenly, from somewhere, I don't know, Phantom Stranger is pulling Janet by the hand and they're running out of there. I guess there was a way back easily because they're practically there after a few minutes. And then, it's okay. And Phantom Stranger, are you okay? Bruce Gordon asks. Yes, Bruce Gordon, thanks to your inventive genius. And you, Janet, you showed me how I might honor my new humanity. And he says it hurts. It's such an unpleasant sensation. And Janet's like, maybe you're probably feeling shock. But once you get some rest, you'll feel better. And he says, rest, yes, perhaps I shall see what that is like. If you'll have time, that is. And then we're back to Calypso, and he says, oh, they have triumphed? Well, that was rather expected. Interesting that he says that. Very much the reason why I planned 3 dooms for Earth, so 1 down, 2 to go. And then he laughs. I'm pretty sure it's a Calypso. Yeah. And that's it. That's where the issue ends. Okay, so cover. These all have Mike Mignola. I'm very happy about that. So you can see that. You see, that one here looks quite a lot. Oops, sorry. Looks quite a lot like Hellboy. That one over there. But yeah, you can definitely see what Mr. Mignola's art was like before. You see, that kind of looks like Hellboy. And he developed his style that's so well known now. But I kind of miss him drawing like this. Although here, to be fair, he did like the breakdowns, all that, but he didn't do the he didn't do the coloring or the inking in this one. But still, you can definitely, if you know Mike Mignola's well-known art style now, you'll definitely see it in this. developed. And so that's the cover. It's got great colors. There's some purple and gray here, and then you got the orange and mainly the orange is really in the background. So Stranger is front and center, and a very good job with the title, as they made it blue in the background, and then it's white and black. So that really brings it out and makes it very visible, which is good. It's, sometimes I've seen where they would do it and it just looked, it just blend in too much with the cover, which is bad. If you want to see it, sorry for all the moving if you're looking at the screen. Okay, let's see the art now. Okay, so there's, yeah, that was definitely Eclipso. So there's Bruce Gordon, there's Eclipso. M&M's. Yeah, they're in this void. Or maybe in Bruce Gordon's mind, maybe. I wonder if Phantom Stranger just gave up because he saw Bruce Gordon's despair. Now it's funny because it starts out with Bruce Gordon thinking like, no, I can't do this. You said you'd help, but then Bruce Gordon's angry at him for giving up. He's like, you told me you'd help me, that we would fight this, and what? In the end, you're just giving up. It's kind of funny how the roles reverse that quickly. I see there's Phantom, there's the Lords of Light. And you see, they grabs him in the hand, and after that's kind of just it. Like, there's no panel after that to show, I don't know, they kind of threw him back, or the whole scene just turned back to normal, or something like that. There's Mr. Gray's beloved Jimmy. There's Yuri. Let me show you Dr. Janet. One moment. Fuck, I'll show you her on this page. That's the blonde lady there. You see, I like these two battles. Which is, you see, she's looking at Stranger, and Bruce Gordon's unsure, and she turns to look at him, and he's smiling. And you see there they're going. Oh, he looks angry. There they are. And there's our beloved charlatan in the series. And the Temple of Divine Light. Or whatnot. He's basically selling these people a lie. The question is, did they actually believe it? What will happen in the end? And there's the demons. There are the demons. That are down below. Pounding the earth. So at least for now, at least there won't be any earthquakes and tsunamis and all that, but they still have two other dooms to fight, which begs the question, where will they find them and how will they face the other two? Because this was relatively, at least strategy-wise, you go in and shoot the demons, basically, but what do you do with the other stuff? But yeah, what a continuation. Yeah, I thought the issue would start, Phantom Stranger, like planning with Bruce Gordon what they're gonna do and all that. And it ended up with him just giving up for some reason so quickly. Again, maybe it's because he saw Gordon stayed and suddenly thought maybe we can do this. It is hopeless. But then Gordon just kind of was at first despaired, but then like, no, you said you'd help. And what are you doing? And then, I don't know, the Lords of Light arriving suddenly and deciding, I don't know, fuck it. Who knows? Now, interesting that Eclipso said it was expected. You think he'd be more upset, unless, of course, the other two dooms he planned are much more difficult to defeat. Because the question is what those will be, and then how will the series end? How will they defeat Eclipso? because there's only 2 more issues left. So I kind of wonder if it's going to be a little bit rushed because of that. Now, granted, if they have such a mini-series, I guess they planned ahead how the story's going to go. But one has to wonder. But I am very much enjoying myself. It always feels like this was written by Chris Claremont with all the dialogue in it. Which is good, though. You actually feel like you're reading something, unlike with some modern comics today. But yeah, the fighting scene was cool. It will be interesting to see Phantom Stranger grappling with being human now. I wish I had the original series just to see what he was meant to be originally. Because he's the sort of force, the sort of, not exactly magician per se, but he's something like that, so interesting if his origin was these Lords of Light, but I imagine they were. It's also interesting if he was human before. If he was turned into this, and what life did he lead prior to that? Based on his hair, I imagine he had to have at least been 50. Who knows, man? Maybe not. I mean, it doesn't matter. He has to. I just realized it looks funny because his leg's up because he's kicking this demon, and then he's like giving punched this one. He's not able to fight them off so easily inside the comic, unfortunately, but here he's kicking them. But yeah, it's left to be seen how's it gonna continue. Will Eclipso just sit back and watch as they try to undo everything he started, or will he interfere? Because after all, that's what he wants. He wants to destroy the world and humanity, but will he lift a finger in order to stop Phantom Stranger? Or does he think that, yeah, Phantom Stranger succeeded with this one, but the other 2 he shall not? Again, as I say, I guess this one might have been the easiest, just because it's just demons down below pounding. If you can destroy them, you stop that, but some other evils that were planned could be much more intricate and complicated to undo. So yeah, that is left to be seen. I'm definitely excited for issue 3. Oh yeah, I think in the first video I said I don't know when I'll get to read the other ones. Yeah. Funny enough, I think it was that day or the day after that suddenly someone was selling the whole series here in Israel, and my friend bought it, and friend Lior, and he sold me the 2 issues I was missing, so I'll get to finish this one, which is awesome, because I thought it would be a while. But yeah, so that was issue 2 of Phantom Stranger, the 1987 limited series. We shall see what issue 3 will bring. I'm looking forward to see how Phantom Stranger copes with his newfound humanity. And will he, because he's amazed at how, even though Dr. Janet Clayton is scared, she's not giving up. She still fought on and shot the demon with the laser gun. Even though she's terrified, and you just see marvels at it. So who knows, maybe he'll learn something, and I wonder if by the end of this he'll go back to being this being. Who knows? I shall find out. Alright folks, so that is it. Again, let me know what you thought of issue 2. And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!